This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone. What a fantastic start to the day. The Juma clan are here. The den is active. There's 5 hyenas. Ribbon is suckling, so it's a very, very good morning. So, buckle up, everyone. It's time for your live safari. Good morning and welcome. Everybody's here at the den. It's fantastic. We've got Ribbon suckling, Intima, and 2 other hyenas that I've not been able to identify quite yet. It's nice and early in the morning. It's chilly, 50 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I've forgotten the temperatures. That's awkward. But I know my name. My name is Lauren, and I do have Theo on camera. And I do know the names of the hyenas, which is at least something. I can tell you that. Now, I'm of course going to try very, very hard to get the IDs of the 2 other hyenas. They're crunching on some leftover body parts, I imagine from the buffalo of the lions. But I haven't seen the carcass, so I don't actually know the update on that. But they definitely have some food. And now I'm going to try the temperatures again. It's 10 degrees Celsius and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. There you go. I got there eventually. The cubs have been inside the den the entire time. We have just not seen them because there's been no adults around. So, what a great... Everybody's very happy, full bellies. And Swazi's in camp. I bumped into him with my coffee this morning, so he is absolutely fine, as we showed you yesterday. He's in our camp where he always is, wire-free. So before I forget, we are live and interactive. So please, please do talk to us. Send in your lovely comments or questions to #WildEarth on Twitter or @FC in the YouTube chat stream. Kids, if you're watching from around the world, please do email us. kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Annalie, yes, I'm so happy about Swazi. It was a long process, but his life was not in immediate danger. That wire was very loose. When we removed it yesterday, Joel, the vet, Dr. Joel, removed it. It was completely loose. It hadn't marked his skin or embedded in his skin or caused any wound, actually. So it was a long process, but they struggled to find him. I made it my mission yesterday. My sole mission was to find Swazi. I am slightly strange to say, but I really know that hyena's habits and where he sits, where he sleeps, and what he does. So I knew we were going to find him. And the vet came with an entire kit. They've got to be really careful which darts they use on which animal. There's different sizes and different volumes for each specific animal. And of course they had to see Swazi. They took his age into consideration. They took everything about him into consideration before deciding which dart to use. So it was quite the process, and it was such a success. So Swazi is absolutely fine, looking for scraps in our camp. And Intima here clearly has a scrap. I don't quite know what she has. It's a bone of some sort. Now, Intima is Ribbon's daughter. That's why Ribbon is very relaxed around Intima. They have a wonderful relationship. Because Ribbon's now the matriarch, Intima is also very high-ranked. So I'm going to sit here for the next little while, hoping that Corky's one will make an appearance. But it gives me great pleasure to say that I'm sending you over to David to say good morning.
And very good morning to all of you. I'm back in the Sabi sands on Juma and couldn't be more stoked to be out here. It is so lovely to be back in the bush. It's been a while, it's been a few weeks, but very thankful to be back out here. My name is David Hancock, and on camera we have Craig. and I hope that you are all safe and healthy wherever you are in the world. Still a tumultuous time of craziness and chaos all over the globe, but very thankful to be out here in our little piece of Africa where the bush carries on as it always has. Not much difference out here. As we left camp this morning, we got some lovely lion audio, probably the pride that was on the buff, so we're just gonna scout around here and see if my first morning might produce a predator. Hopefully get that first day back luck. And I'm getting lots of welcome backs and thank yous and well wishes from everyone. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. It's so good to be back here. The bush has gotten a lot drier since my last visit. The sun is peeking over the horizon. Let's stop here and see if we can hear anything. Might still get some of that lion audio. I'm not hearing any lion roars, but we're hearing some elephant trumpeting. Quite far away, I don't know if you'd have picked that up. Another beautiful winter morning. And I agree with you, Maya. It's just an exquisite winter morning, so clear and crisp. As that golden sun peeks its head over the horizon, ready to warm another day. We're going to continue on a little bit, see if we bump into those squealing elephants. But while we do that, let's send you over to Nikki at andBeyond in Ngala, who's also watching the sunrise.
Good morning to all our viewers, and hopefully David gets those elephants that he's looking out for. But how beautiful is the sunrise? So you can see these two silhouettes, or the two trees in the foreground are actually marula trees. In the back, the sun just rising. So I'm Nikki. I'm going to be your ranger for here at andBeyond in Ngala, and with me on the camera is Owen. Now it's just such a beautiful morning. We've decided to come and stop here in quite a nice open clearing, and hopefully we'll be able to listen out to any sounds. We were looking out for leopard. We went past a tree where we found that Makoti male, that young male leopard with the kill up and through the tree. But it seems to me he's not there this morning. He might only come back a little bit later, but in the meantime, we are exploring some other areas, possibly seeing if we can find any signs of wild dogs early on, and then later on possibly going back to see if that leopard might come back to that kill. But for now, just enjoying a beautiful sunrise. lot of the viewers, I know I've made a comment of how beautiful it is, and I can't agree with you more. It's just so special. The different colors, but also what I want you to do is just listen out to the different birds, that early morning chorus. So from one beautiful view to another, let's send you to Mike, who's looking at the beautiful mountain range.
You are looking at a very hazy Drakensberg escarpment this morning. A lot of fog in the air, a lot of cool mist. It's a very interesting morning. We're sitting here on Impala Plains, hoping to hear some lions that we heard last night. I am Mike. Behind the camera we've got Seb, and you're joining us here at Eco Training's Pridelands Conservancy. And it is a gorgeous morning. We are just waiting to hear if those lions are coming closer or getting further. Just scanning the plains, a few impalas moving down at the bottom, and it's a good morning just to listen. There's a little breeze on the air. Just hoping that we're going to spot something maybe walking past us down in the valley here. It's a perfect morning for a predator to be on the stroll. There's a gorgeous sunrise, and it's just a wonderful way to start the day. Just watching everything brighten up as we begin our journey on our safari. Hoping today brings us as much luck as yesterday did. It sounds like it was a crazy afternoon yesterday everywhere else, including here. For now, we're just going to watch that Drakensberg escarpment as it looms over the Lowveld. The landscape is very dry now. Biltong, I mean, it's going to be a gorgeous day, I think. A new day, a new dawn, and I'm feeling good. I think that's the lyrics of a song, actually. In the meantime, whilst we enjoy this, I'm going to send you back to Lauren and her hyenas.
It's a gorgeous morning, chilly, but the sun is up, casting that orange glow across the landscape. I love it. And it's not just the sun that's up, everyone. 2 others are up. Look at this. Sampling whatever delicious delight Djuma has been eating. Now, they're not really eating at this stage. They're just crunching on their bone. Just like puppies or children, their teeth are still growing, the jaws are still itching, and they're curious. So this is them gnawing on the bone. And Djuma's not threatened at all by this little cub running away with her snack, because they're not really eating at this stage. They do go on to meat very young. Oh. Okay, it's stolen. Say goodbye to your breakfast and... Oh. Why are you putting the bone against Mum? Now, Michael, you have posted a comment that I have to say was rather difficult to read. And apparently the Talamatis and Darkmane killed a wild dog pup yesterday in the Mangaletti. That's sad. I fully understand it's the predator way of life here, but that was rather sad. I'm not sure which wild dog pack it is, but it could be the Pungwe pack. Yeah, it's rather sad. Predators will kill other predators' cubs, I'm afraid, or pups. Because they're a threat. They're the young of your enemy. Hyenas will kill leopard cubs, hyenas will kill lion cubs, and unfortunately, that's how it is. But very sad. Thank you for informing us, Michael. So yes, hyenas stay in milk up to 18 months, can go to 2 years depending on the individual. So it's anywhere between 18 months to 24 months that they'll be in milk. It's a very, very long period of time, especially for the mother to be lactating and producing such rich, delicious milk. It's a long time. It takes a lot of energy for the mother. To lactate is not energy free, if you like. It's costly. It eats into the energy budget. That's why hyenas do have to really, really feed and stock up, which I think all of these adults did last night or at some point during the night, and it keeps the young strong. So they will dabble in meat to prepare themselves, to prepare their stomachs, but they stay in milk for a very long time. And it's said to be one of the most nutritious in the entire animal kingdom. And this is probably because of what they eat. They eat everything. They crunch through so much bone that the calcium, they're very, very rich in calcium, the milk. And that's why their feces, shall we say, turn white when drying in the sun. You can spot a hyena poop a mile away. And other organisms out here, like the leopard tortoise, will eat hyena scat. And that's because it's, well, I can't imagine it's delicious, but it's high in calcium. And the leopard tortoise needs that for shell maintenance. Everything out here is recycled. I've not heard that sound in a while. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's a flight. Flat Cat, you're asking about something being lighter than the others. Emma will let me know. And Tima's watching the flight. The cubs are scared. One cub is lighter than the other cub. Yes, so... Oh, that's really sweet. They don't know what to do with the flight noise. We've not... As a helicopter. Oh, it's okay, guys. They also haven't heard the sound in a very long time. If you think about it, flights have not been operating. The skies have been empty. So yes, Flat Cat, you're asking about the difference in colour. No, it would have nothing to do with milk. So one cub is much, much darker, which is actually good for us. Shimbulu's darker, and it's helpful for us to identify them both. But it's just coloration. So if you think, well, I'm a fake blonde, but I do have dark hair. You have people with red hair. You have people with really, really jet black hair. It's just genetics. They are twins, but they're non-identical in that case. And it's just the coloration. It's just the way that their sort of pattern will form. If you think about it, the spot pattern normally starts to emerge around 3 months, around about that time, because the fur gets lighter, and that's why you can see the spots. They always have their spots. It's just that the surrounding hair gets a lot lighter. Hyenas are quite light, and even spending time with Swazi yesterday, he's very pale when you see him up close. So that's when the spots start to emerge. So it's just genetics. They're different individuals, and for some reason, Shimbulu is much darker than in Swazi. That was a big scary helicopter, wasn't it? Yes. Where did that come from? So I'm of course not going anywhere. This is far too much fun for me. I'm going to sit and watch all the antics at the Juma clan den.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. My name is Clive, and behind the camera we have Marcel this morning. And we have straight away come back to this pan where these lions were yesterday, where Ngala Pride was yesterday, and they are still in exactly the same place, which is actually quite unusual for lions. Normally, obviously, with them being nocturnal, they would have moved. But they are still right here. And what a perfect view. It's nice and misty this morning. They're just on the other side of the water, so it's creating quite a strange scene here. So those are just the 5 young males that we're all getting to know so well. Those are just them sitting there. So I don't know where the adult lionesses are. I don't know where that lioness with the 2 small cubs is. And we don't know where that mating pair of lions is, but these little youngsters are right here. Maybe what's happened is maybe the lionesses have gone off hunting and kind of left them here. But they're also at the age where they need to start learning to hunt for themselves now. So they should actually technically be following the lionesses around at this age. Oh, I wonder if they're all going to start moving somewhere now. JT, yeah, you're right. Boys' day out. Like a little bachelor weekend. I love, you can just see that they're little males, that little extra fluff on their chest. They're quite good looking at this age, I think. Well, not that they ever aren't, I guess, but there's 2 of them. Oh, no. They're looking quite intently off on the right. I wonder if... Listen, it's also possible that maybe the lionesses are around here. Anyway, while we sit here and see what these lions get up to this morning, we're going to send you across to David, also with some lions.
And we do have some lions. It was my first morning back. Welcome present from Juma here on Sabi Sands. Getting to catch up with these Nkuhumas. They are here at Twin Dam. I believe they killed a buffalo here a couple days ago, so you can see they're nice and full. But a great start to my week here with WildEarth. Getting to spend the morning with the Nkuhumas and see that one big evoker male here. I'm not sure if there's another. My favorite time to view lions is in the winter. This yellow grass just makes them look slightly more menacing. Something about their tawny hair and coloration in this dead grass. They blend in so well. Francois, you've asked, is it true that lions are colorblind? And what I have read on it does point to that. They try and ascertain the ability of animals to see colors by examining rods and cones and all the parts that make up the eye, and research has pointed to lions being colorblind as far as I'm aware. Most predators. Also having very good night vision, able to take in more light, which is obviously helpful at night when hunting. This boy is giving a nice marking. Just saw a jet of urine spraying out there. Looks like he's still a bit sore in the foot. morning, boy. Butterfly, you say this is Blondie, the ultimate warrior. Look at that majestic coat gleaming in the morning sun. I don't know where he's heading off to. If I recall correctly, he had a sore foot last time I was here. I think it was him. Still getting to know these lions. I haven't been here that many times, but let's go. Just turn the vehicle slightly so we can have a look at the cubs and at Blondie. But I think in the mornings, especially these cold winter mornings, that foot's going to be a lot more painful. Well, as we move around here and just reposition, let's send you back over to Lauren with the Hyena cubs.
We have Comet. He finally popped his head up. He's facing us, and immediately you know it's Comet because he's blind in that right eye of his. It's very distinctive. As soon as you see Comet's face, you know it's Comet. So we've got Comet, who's a male, an immigrant male, who's been around the den quite a lot. He seems very comfortable. I mean, he keeps his distance from Ribbon, but the ladies are very comfortable with him being around. And then there's one other youngster that I've not been able to identify yet. I wonder if it's Ndebele or Sutu or someone's through the thicket there. It might not be. It might be a male. But I'm a lot lower down in the camera and I really cannot see who that is yet. But we'll figure it out. So it's a busy, busy den this morning. And it's a communal den. Now, we raced here early. We actually left 15 minutes early because I was hoping to catch Corky. But no sign. So she has to be nocturnally suckling. That has to be the answer here. We just don't see her. And she must be avoiding Ribbon. She has to be. But the interactions that we can see from these two, Shimbulu and Swazi, with Corky's cub, is very, very relaxed. They're very tender with one another. There's no aggression or displays or dominance. It's very... Oh, Comet's coming to say hello to you, Ribbon. The boys are very gentle with Corky's cub. That's what I was trying to say. I remember watching Plonk, who was Corky's cub. Sadly, we believe he's no longer with us. When Corky was matriarch, he was a very dominant cub, very aggressive, and always proving himself to the sort of younger surrounding cubs. But we don't see that with this pair. I wonder when Djuma will have her own little litter. She's old enough now. She's about 3.5. So she's sexually mature. So Djuma really could be mating at any point. It's very rare to see. I don't think it's something we'll ever see. I would love to see Hyena mating. But they don't do it very publicly. It's not like lions and leopards. They will sort of be very secretive about it. And they have a gestation period of 16 weeks, so that's 4 months. So slightly longer than lions and leopards, but their offspring are born a little bit more developed than lions and leopard cubs. But it's still a short gestation period in comparison to various different antelopes. And it's for the exact same reason. The predator cannot be weighed down with a heavy belly pregnant for too long. It's easier to give birth to underdeveloped cubs and look after them stashed in a den than it is to carry the weight and hunt and run and scavenge whilst pregnant. Very similar for all predators. Now, we obviously got to sit with Swazi yesterday. And it was huge. It was really huge. He's much bigger than I expected because, of course, I've never sat with a hyena before. And I got to hold his paw, and that was just incredible. It's way bigger than my hand. Big, big paws, and he's a youngster. Megan, I agree. It's so lovely to see how gentle and tender Ribbons too are with Corky's little one. It's really lovely, actually. Corky's little one is very small, and because Corky's a low ranker now, you can see just by looking at this little one that it's the offspring of a low ranker. If you compare, actually, if any of you have screenshots to compare these two boys at around about, let's say, 6 weeks with Corky's one now, I can supply some photos of that. You'll see the difference. Ribbons too will just be a lot more filled out and slightly healthier looking. Don't get me wrong, Corky's one is gorgeous, but you can just see that it's a lower ranker. If any of you wish to take on that challenge, please do. Let's do a comparison. If not, I'll work on it this afternoon and try and share it with you all somehow. But there's a definite difference, and that is generally because high rankers are stronger and they produce stronger offspring. Ginger, that's such a good question. And you're going to be surprised. It really wasn't that bad. I did not pick up on any awful smells from Swazi. Now, he hadn't been at a kill and he wasn't covered in blood, but he did not have a bad odor. And he was so soft, really soft. Just big, surprisingly big. You can see they do have really large skulls with those powerful jaws. And he was just a lot bigger than I anticipated. There's lots of photos online that you'll be able to see my short self next to Swazi, and it's quite striking. So if you think Swazi is an immature young male, can you imagine what it would be like to be next to Ribbon, a mature, huge female who's the matriarch? These animals are bigger than you think they are. Very powerful. But yes, Ginger, no bad smells. Whereas now, the smell is awful. They've all been in this buffalo, I think. There's bones lying around. There's puddles of urine. It's not the most pleasant place to spend your morning, smell-wise. But it's the smell of hyenas, and you just get used to it after a while. I do have a feeling they may move dens soon. They've been at this den quite a while, and there's 3 cubs, 2 different age groups inside. So I think the parasite load will be building up, and I imagine there may be a den change soon. So while I sit and watch my lovely hyenas snoozing, we're going to send you off to someone else.
There's some exciting news. So we managed to find tracks of wild dogs, and they're heading down in this direction. Now, knowing wild dogs, they might be moving quite a bit. So we're going to try and keep a steady pace, head up in this direction, and hopefully there's a good chance of finding them this morning. But we are going to have to scan very carefully because they blend in so well to this area. I mean, that bits of black, white, brownish color. And also knowing wild dogs, they do move quite far distances in a day. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hopefully find them. Now, like those hyenas that Lauren saw earlier, often if you do follow wild dogs, you might see a lot of hyena tracks also maybe over their tracks as they are following these wild dogs, hoping that if the wild dogs do make a kill, they can go and steal that kill or just even get the scraps afterwards. But it didn't look like too many. It only looked like tracks of probably around 3. Might be the same from yesterday. We'll just have to give it a go. Indigo girl, hopefully we can find these wild dogs. I'm looking really forward to it. So we are approaching some open areas here, And what often these wild dogs will do is they will move into these dense areas and then straight into an open area just to scan and see if there's possibly any young wildebeest, maybe even Impala, duikers, whatever they can basically flush. Their size and smaller preferably, but they could go up for something as big as a almost fully grown female kudu. For all the viewers, this is just such a beautiful morning. I felt like I had a bit of a slow start because it's so cold, and I feel sometimes like a reptile. I need a bit of sun just to warm up, but definitely getting that warm feeling now with the sun coming out. So remember earlier we were talking about some open areas that the wild dogs might be using. So I'm not going to stop here for too long. I just wanted to scan quickly and just show everyone the area. Now there's no animals around. Normally in this area you'll find quite a few wildebeest, maybe Impala, and you don't know. Maybe even with those wild dogs moving through the area, they might have given them a scare and they've moved off. So let's slowly carry on.
We followed Blondie for a little ways through the riverbed. We climbed up the embankment to a thick patch we couldn't follow. So we decided to come back here and see what the cubs are up to, and as expected, not up to much. Sleeping off those big fat bellies. Nice and full. It was like their Thanksgiving, getting a big buffalo. I've counted 9 cubs. See, there's one behind us out of sight. Haven't seen any females. And only the one male, so not sure where all the others are. Maybe not too far. There was quite a bit of audio this morning. Actually woke me up. And some of it sounded a lot closer to camp, so perhaps the females are that side. Debbie, you've asked, how does it feel to have a male lion stare at you, like we just had a little bit ago, when Blondie walked past the car and gave us that beautiful, deep, terrifying look that only a lion can give. Now, Debbie, it feels, how do I put it? It's a privilege to have that. It feels almost surreal if you allow yourself to really look deep into their eyes and feel that power. It's a look that only a lion can give, and especially like I was saying earlier, in this dry winter with this yellow grass, their eyes, that deep burning yellow, almost penetrate. And it's really a special experience. On a vehicle it's crazy because you get to see them so close. You can see how big they are when they walk past you, as close as he was this morning. But even more incredible, Debbie, is when you are on foot and you have a lion look at you, especially in this dry season. Just their heads stick out above this yellow grass, and sometimes they'll alert you to their presence when you're busy walking and you bump into them accidentally and you get a little growl, and then they'll stand up and just stare at you and give you that piercing look. And that is an altogether terrifying yet incredible experience. We're gonna enjoy these guys a little bit longer, see if there's any movement. What a beautiful morning.
So from the Avoca male lion, which exudes power and it's a little bit terrifying to look at in the eye, to something which usually exudes nothing but gentle calmness and wisdom. We're here at Pridelands with, I think, probably the same herd of elephants we had yesterday. They seem to have made their way all the way close to Leopard Dam and are now just feeding on, guess what? Sticks. Sticks. Oh, I heard something in the background there that sounded a bit like maybe a buffalo. Oh no, it's just a grumbling elephant. Look at this one here. Looks like it's got a piece of sugar cane. It's busy eating off that bark as we've been seeing over the last few days. It's a very, very neat job there. All the bark's just chewed right off there. Looks pretty content though. Oh, a little bit of a shake there. Sometimes these this is a young male, and it's large enough now to be being pushed away by the female, so probably it's just a bit annoyed because it's getting a little bit of pressure, but that's alright. These elephants are just enjoying the warm glow of the morning as the sun rises. We're on a bit of a eastern facing slope here, as you can see that sun, dappled light on the side of that elephant as it feeds on the grasses and shrubs around here. Really, really nice. I do wonder, I wish I could identify more of these elephants. Elephants are amazing. I mean, they sometimes have these patterns on their ears or specific ways their tusks look. I haven't seen any in this particular group that I can identify easily. We all know. Oh, look at that little cute thing. Having a bit of a scratch there. Do you see what it's doing with its back leg? It's found itself a little stump or a stone or something. It's having a little scratch. Megan, you've asked if elephants try to make eye contact with us. Well, it's difficult for elephants because, of course, their eyes are facing downwards for the most part. So they have to kind of lift their head right up when they need to make direct eye contact. And it's very intimidating, actually, with their head up and their ears wide. But yesterday, Seb and I were sitting with elephants, and they came very close to the vehicle, and it definitely felt like they were making contact with us. Not necessarily eye contact directly, but definitely, this kind of aura that they exude where you just feel like they're really, feeling you, sensing you. It's really nice. The little baby elephants were making a lot of eye contact with us yesterday, that's for sure. You can see that elephant's eyes there, it's facing downwards and their eyelids sort of block them from looking directly at us, but sometimes you can see these soft, gentle brown eyes, and it's actually very nice when they look towards you. Megan, have you ever had an elephant looking directly at you? And tell us how you felt about it. I love it. I think it makes me feel very calm. Good morning. See, now sometimes these elephants, with the light the way it is now, you can just see the brown of their eyes, those gentle eyes. Oh, look at the little baby there. It's doing what mama does. See how it picks up exactly the same sticks that the mom is picking up. Sometimes when the mother drops a stick, you'll see the baby actually pick up the same stick the mother dropped to learn. What is the feeling? What does it taste like? Is this a food that I can eat? This is a very young elephant. It'll still be suckling, but obviously starting to taste some of the solid food. Yeah, there's another little young one coming. I think this might be the same sassy group that we had yesterday morning, because look at this. This one's about to chase us off. Oh, Megan, you have had elephants look directly at you, and you find it peaceful? I told you, it's so nice. It's such a calming experience. I mean, if an elephant looks at you and it's not happy about it, you'll know, because you'll see the white part of their eye, and their eyes are open very wide and their heads are up, and it's usually followed by lots of head shaking and trumpeting. But when they feel calm with you and they're not threatened, you know, lions exude power, but elephants, it's a whole nother power. Speaking of lions, we do have some lions at Phinda, so let's send you over there.
Welcome back again with these 5 little youngsters from Ngala Pride. And they've moved a little bit away from where they were just now. Remember, they started walking away, and it seems like they're just kind of exploring around this area, maybe waiting for the lionesses to get back. I'm sure they must have gone off hunting, and they've kind of just been running around, and now they've just settled down on the side of the road here. The others are just in the trees on the side there. They were, looked like they were almost stalking something just now. They're still very young to obviously be able to catch anything for themselves, but it looks like they were kind of stalking something just now, maybe just using this time to practice and hone in on a few hunting skills while the adults are away. Oh, big yawn. I wonder if he's going to get up. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. Into the road for us. How nice of him. Look at the size of these paws at less than 1.5 years old. Look at the size of them. It's amazing. Here comes another one. And now I'm sure the other 2 or whatever that are just off on the side here are going to walk out into the road as well. Here comes the 3rd one out of the trees. Oh, listen, listen. Oh, listen, did you hear that? Okay, so there's a bit of growling quite a bit further up ahead, maybe about 50 meters further up ahead. Okay, so you can faintly hear that growling. I can't hear it right now. But remember yesterday, can't hear it now, it stopped. Remember yesterday there was a mating pair of lions, the male and the female, that were mating here by this little watering hole where we first saw these youngsters, and then they weren't there. I think that might be them. You know, if you were watching yesterday, I'm sure when you saw them mating, if you did see them, or was it the day before? Anyway, they've been this pair have been around here for about 3 days now or so, mating in the same area, and obviously when they do mate, it's quite a loud thing, and I think that's what's happening up ahead. We're going to, since these cubs have moved off the road and we're able to get through here, we're going to go up and check that sound up ahead here. And in the meantime, we'll send you over to some hyenas and Juma.
The action at this den is incredible. A male has rocked up. I think it could be cow, but I don't know. The females are not happy. Ribbon and Intima, tails up, dominance display, literally chased them away, and everybody's gone. Cubs have ran back inside, and the whole beautiful morning that we were having has changed. I don't know who this male is, but Ribbon was not happy to see him, and that shows you she's comfortable with Comet. Comet's also a male, but she's not happy with this additional male. So let's try. She's chasing him. Ribbon, you are quite the feisty female today, aren't you? Because they're all clan members. They're all part of the one clan. They need one another. Oh, lovely ribbon. That was delightful. Please do not decide to lie on that afterwards. Oh no, we are. We are. You would think on a chilly morning the last thing you would want was your bottom to be wet, but oh no. 2 meters away from the car, everyone. Delightful. Hyenas never fail to entertain me. This is how close we are to this pair. Cubs ran back inside, but I really, really hope that they're going to pop back out again. Now, let me just get my... Actually, I think this is the male over here. Let's zoom in and see if we can get him. Who are you? I don't know, I can't tell from here, I'm afraid, but if any of you eagle-eyed viewers know who this is, please do let me know, but this is the one that disturbed the entire scene and upset the ladies. Not comment. Many of you are saying hyenas are so yucky, but interesting. Yes, weird and wonderful. Aren't you, Ribbon? Utterly bizarre, but endearing. I would have thought that that would not be comfortable, but for Ribbon it clearly is. So this is a communal den, and what a communal den means is that males are welcome, but for some reason that hyena that arrived was really not welcome. So I'm going to try and figure out who it is, and while I do that, we're going to send you across to Clive.
All right, welcome back. We found the source of the growling. Look at this. It's the male and female. Just listen. Wow. This is so incredible. So incredible. So this male, even though this couple have been together now for a good few days and mating for a good few days, this male's still not letting her out of his sight, and he's staying so close to her and probably annoying her a little bit. I think she's kind of come to the end of her little estrus cycle, and she probably doesn't want to carry on mating anymore, and the male's still just standing close by, not letting him out of her sight. Not letting her out of his sight, sorry. Look at this. She's not happy with them being so close. So the growling we heard earlier wasn't from them mating. I think it was actually from her just growling at him. And I think where they're both looking is behind me. And I think it must be those 5 youngsters. They were just behind us, remember that. Look at how impressive he is. He is incredible. That dark mane. Really, really beautiful. Look at him looking down at her. This is so cool. I think he's going to lie down right there. Jackie, sorry, I was just going to let you listen to that. Jackie, that estrus cycle you're asking about, this male and female will join together normally for about 3 or 4 days. And they'll mate constantly for those 3 or 4 days, anywhere between 20 minutes and an hour. But they'll be together for about 3 or 4 days and mating constantly. And I think now it's at the end of that 3 or 4 days, which is why now she's a little bit grumpy. She doesn't want to mate anymore. She's trying to keep him away from her now. And I'm sure even by this afternoon they'll split up and kind of just join back up with the rest of the pride properly, instead of staying together like this. So it's just that 3 or 4 days that they'll be together. How amazing were the sounds though, just of her growling, and obviously just her like baring her teeth at him. It is so incredible to watch, but it looks like they've calmed down a little bit now. Love is restored back in paradise. Well, while this couple settle down on the side of the road here, we're going to let you carry on with your safari this morning.
Good morning from a beautiful day out here at Tswalu Kalahari. It is fantastic having you with us. Davy is on the camera over there, just doing a great job at trying to do this place some justice, and I think he's doing it very, very well. My name's Dylan, and it is just wonderful having you join us this morning on this live safari, and hopefully you'll be joining us again this afternoon. This morning we are going to be going down to the Meerkats. Remember, we didn't do them yesterday, and I really want to keep popping in there on a regular basis, if not every day, probably at least every second day. But yeah, so we use this dam as our starting point generally, just because it's nice and centrally located. We know there have been multiple wildcat sightings in this area over the past couple of weeks, so I'm really just trying to capitalize on these cool temperatures that we're still having now. Like I mentioned yesterday, the further we go now, we're almost in August now. By September, the temperatures are going to be climbing quite quickly, and that's really going to reduce our chances of getting things like African wildcats in the day. So I am still going to be pushing for that every single drive when we're out. Doesn't matter what else we're looking for, we always keep our eyes open for those. We still have 9 ducklings. That's always a good start in the morning. To wake up and see 9 ducklings, that's always a good thing. I'm glad some of you are saying yay out there, because it is yay. And there's a lot that can go for them, but these parents are such good parents. They keep their eyes peeled for predators, and these little guys just duck underwater so fast if something approaches them. But I am always interested to see that female on the far side, that Shelly going there, and she's actually swimming after. Kay says that she just loves these ducklings, and they are really sweet little things. But you see what good parents are. So a couple of those little ones started swimming right across to the other side, away from the group, and immediately mom took off after them. She didn't wait around or let them, okay, well, you can go out there. Immediately she's giving a good dry off there. Yes, they are adorable little things, though. I keep wanting to come up with some joke about Peking duck, but maybe I won't.
WildEarth relies on support from viewers like you to carry on broadcasting our daily live shows. A small donation goes a long way in helping us on our mission to connect the world with nature. Please visit our support page to see how you can help and become part of the WildEarth family.
How amazing is this? We managed to hear some noises on the other side of the river, and it sounded like quite a few jackal and hyenas, and we thought maybe it's the wild dogs. And as we got here, we could still hear it was off into the block, but of course there were some elephants around. We decided let's just quickly go past them and just have a look, because it's so beautiful. It looks like a mother and her young calf that are together here. You might just see as she moves, the calf will follow soon. The calf is actually standing behind the mom at the moment. And early on he was rubbing his head against a tree. I wonder if he has like a little itch on the front of his head, because early on also, as he came close to his mom, he was rubbing his head against mom's leg. So let's have a look. Andrea, it is a little one. Like, just based on the size of the tussin, that I don't even think he's 2 years old. Might be a year and a half, maybe close to 2 years. But he is definitely very, very adorable. And if you listen to some of the sounds, you'll hear how as they move through, how they're pushing the trees to the side. You might even hear some of the birds as they're pushing through that are trying to catch some of the insects. But in the meantime, while we're seeing how these elephants eventually disappear into the thicket here, let's send you across to some hyena.
It just gets better and better, and Djuma is really playing with the little ones. She was slightly rough, but she's really playing with them, really engaging with them, and it's a really good experience for her as well, especially if there's a chance she may become a mother soon. There's 2 hyenas incoming. The unidentified male was Kaikau. I'm not sure why his presence made them so unhappy. It's a very small male Kaikau. From a distance, you would almost think he was a sub-adult, and he's not. But I've just been contemplating the dynamics here. So in Djuma's Ribbon's daughter, she's 3.5, as I've already mentioned. She's in a very good position now that her mother is matriarch. But funnily enough, she was actually always thought to be slightly higher ranked than her mother, which is really bizarre for hyenas. But just watching her behavior, Ribbon was always the lowest ranker. And through observations, we always thought that Djuma just acted slightly above her mother. But obviously now Ribbon is the matriarch. Ribbon's at the very top now, but it puts Djuma in a really, really good position. Now, father-wise, hyenas are promiscuous. We have no idea who the dad is. I would love to know. I would really love to be that girl that collects hyena scat and sends it off for analysis. I'd really love to know. But potentially, Djuma and these 2 boys could actually be full siblings. They could have the same father. A lot of the immigrant males have been with the clan for a long time. So potentially Ribbon could have mated with the same male. We don't know that. They could also not be full siblings. They could be half siblings, of course. But they also could have the same father. I'd really, really love to know if it was possible to collect, well, it's definitely possible to collect the scat, but I wonder if it's possible to sort of get DNA. You would need to have all the scat containing the DNA from all the males as well, which would not be easy. And probably not very fun, waiting on a hyena to deliver. But I would really love to know that, and it's a possibility. It really is a possibility. Karen, good question. They have no choice. So within clan dynamics, no. We're having a very naughty moment. That was me just gently tapping the vehicle. I don't like to shout or go, "Hoi!" There's no need to do that. Just tap the vehicle. Make sure that they know they're not allowed to do that. Shimbulu being very naughty. Yes, Karen, your question. The clan have to be. So because hyenas are a matriarchal, female-dominated society, they have no choice but to respect the matriarch. Now, we see Ribbon lying in a puddle of her own urine, looking very cute and innocent in some respect. But she's not. She's fierce and she's the boss. It's her role, it's her status to manage the clan, if you like. The reason there is a leader is to keep them in control. Can you imagine hyenas having no hierarchy or no control, running amok? That's not a good idea. So Ribbon's status now comes with purpose. So even if the other hyenas were not loving the new cubs, they have no choice but to accept them. And I feel that's where Corky's at right now. Corky's at the stage where she knows she needs the communal den. She needs to please Ribbon. Ribbon's the new chief in town. And that's why Corky's spending time here but being extremely submissive. And that's why we're really not seeing her too much. I think she is avoiding Ribbon. Because Corky used to be the matriarch, of course. And while I try and get rid of this naughty little monkey, we are going to send you across to Brave Dave with his gorgeous lions.
Welcome back. We haven't moved too far. Still here with the Nkuhuma youngsters. It appears that they're waiting for the sun to warm them up. A lovely chilly morning out here. I wonder how cold they really get. I'd be pretty freezing if I slept out here all night in my birthday suit, but luckily these guys have a nice thick coat of hair. Very peaceful. Look at that little belly. Up and down as it breathes in this crisp morning air. We are now in the golden hour, as called by cinematographers. This beautiful morning light, it just makes everything look so vivid and sharp. The male up to 200 meters. Oh, do you see a male lion back there? Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Craig's just spotted a male lion behind us. Won't be able to get him in frame now, but is he moving down this way? He's moving across. That's interesting because we were hearing Impala alarm calling. And that's obviously the reason for the alarm calling. If the male lion's moving back there, maybe another evoker. And some females coming. Maybe get them. Ah, lovely. Looks like the females are coming down. That's cool. There they are, just across the dam. On the way down to the cubs. No wonder the Impala was shouting and alarming. Debbie, you asked earlier, what's it like to be stared upon by a lion? And those Impalas are telling us from their perspective they really don't like it. They have cleared the area. This is very cool. Get to see them maybe having a little greeting. Interesting. The cubs have spotted them and now they are looking a bit uncertain. I wonder what the dynamic is here. Oh, there's this youngster right next to us also. Coming to say hello. Let's see here if we can just turn the vehicle. You want me to turn around here, Craig? Let me just turn here so we can get a sighting of it all. See what is going on here. Which lion those are. There they are, coming down to have a drink. Can you get a look through there? quite see that male very well, but I'm assuming it's another Avoca male. We're just going to sit here and see what happens, who is who in the zoo. But while we do that, let's send you back over to a tiny hyena cub.
Someone's coming out to say hello.
Morning station, WILDwatch. Are there any updates for the morning?
No, come back. We just saw you. Let's just wait. Corky's little one popped his head out. Had a sniff, had a look. Probably gone back inside because the older ones were not there. The older ones are busy crunching on something. Oh no, I think we might have missed that moment, I'm afraid. At least we know it's alive and well inside. And because it's so much younger, it will sleep a lot more than this pair. It's a good thing that it's... we got a little Hulk Hogan here in Triple H. And of course they're really fighting here because there's food involved. And again, this just highlights what I think, that Swazi, the lighter one, is more dominant. Not by much, but out of the twin litter, Swazi is the dominant one in my opinion. And I think from this interaction right now, you can see that. They're both males, so their life ahead of them is obviously going to be very different from if they were females. Their life will probably lead to leaving the clan at some point. Okay, I'm going to keep my eyes open for any more signs of Corky's little one, but for now, we're going to send you guys across to Phinda.
Welcome back again. Thank you, Lauren. And our lions are just kind of walking around in circles. She just keeps trying to lose him, but it's not going to happen. He does not let her even 5 meters away from him. Now they're just moving off the road, and that little watering hole where we first saw the youngsters is just on the other side of these trees, so they're almost heading in a big circle back to there now. And there's quite a bit of yawning going on, so I think she's going to move in the next minute or so. But let's see what happens. Sure, sounds like there's just so much going on this morning at all the different reserves. Other lions, hyenas, elephants, just so much going on. So if you have a close look at the back of this lioness's head, or on her neck, you can actually see little bite marks and bits of and little pieces of dried blood where the male, I don't know if you've seen from some of the other times when they've been mating, where the male actually bites onto the back of her neck. And that is exactly what those little marks are from. So it's quite interesting to see close. Oh, listen here. She's going to growl. Look at that. He wants to lie right there in front of her. Look at that. it's so amazing to watch this. Like, she's just growling at him, and he's just following her. Did you see how he almost tried to like ankle tap her as well? Oh wow! Well, while we watch this unravel, we're going to send you across to Juma quickly, where apparently there's another mating pair.
Well, it appears to be a mohawk. And let's listen real quick. There's a bit of contact calling there. And he is showing interest in this female. Smelling and doing his phlegm and grimace, which is what they do when males are, well, not only male lions, but a lot of animals do it, but he was doing it earlier, smelling the urine of the female. And what they do is they are checking her receptiveness in her season, and she does appear to, if not already be on season, to be close. He's showing a lot of interest in her, so we might have another mating pair. And I'm hearing more lion audio behind us, eh? A little bit of communication going on here. Let's listen to this. It's beautiful. I agree, Chris. What a beautiful sighting in this golden light. Well, as we listen to these lion, watch. Oh, there's a lot of activity happening here. Here come all the cubs. From the back there, isn't this just exquisite? Well, from small cubs to tiny cub, let's go over to Lauren and see what's happening.
Look at the bravery on this little one, everyone. Oh my goodness, he just wants to be with the boys. Oh, this little cub knows it's the two boys. Oh. It shouldn't be leaving the den. Ribbon would never harm it. But all this cub wants is to be with the older ones. Oh. That's very, very sweet. Can you believe it? We're finally getting views. Oh. You can see it's very weak in the legs. No hyena would harm this little one, but it just wants the boys. Ribbon's here, don't worry everyone. Ribbon is snoozing heavily in front of the car, exactly where she was the last time, don't worry. And she won't harm this one. They're a clan. The enemies are not each other. Oh. Look at the size difference, everyone. Look at this. So drastically different. And And for those of you who have maybe just joined us, I promise you, this is a hyena cub. I promise. It's not a black bear. We'll try and give you as much views of this little cub as possible because we really don't get to see it that often. Look at its big shadow. It's got a huge shadow. This is so special, everyone. Oh, are we going to take that? Oh, please don't. Oh, okay. And Tima, you've just lost your breakfast. And Swazi took that whole bone inside of the den. I think Tima was enjoying that. Not anymore. Annette, new life is so precious. I agree. The Juma clan, they've been through so much turmoil, really. Oh, breakfast is coming back out again. Oh, the little one's interested. Wawa. Yummy. But the Juma clan have really been through a lot, at least since I've been here. And there's only 5 adult females. That's not a lot for a clan. And of course, Ribbon's just produced 2 gorgeous cubs, but they're males. And compared to other clans like the North clan up in the Masai Mara and even the Elephant Plains clan, they're a really small clan. And I think we don't. Swazi, you are adventurous. That's your big sister you're shouting at. But the Juma clan do need to settle. They do need more females, and we don't see Heart around anymore. We don't see June. We don't actually see Corky, but she must be coming here. I've seen her once, and she must be here because her cub is here. And Ribbon's not suckling the cub, so Corky must be coming. But Heart and June, I really don't know where those females are and why we don't see them. This is a communal den after all. So this is interesting. Corky's little cub is still there, next to Intima, who's an adult. This is very fascinating. She's just copying these boys. I don't know why I keep saying she, sorry. I don't like to say it, but we have no idea of the sex of Corky's little one. We really don't know. My morning is complete. I'm going to continue to sit here and enjoy.
Well, we've found something that's equally as cute. Look at this adorable face. It's a buffalo bull. Big one. Old boy. How adorable, right? Almost as adorable as that little hyena cub. Or maybe just a face only a mother could love. But he is a happy buffalo today. He's had a drink. We saw him sleeping in a little open area not long ago. We left them because it was very dark. And here they are feeding now. It's not just this one bull. There's about 3 or 4 of them around here. And it's the group that we know quite well. They're always at our dam and around the eco-training camp. It's one of the reasons why we have to make sure our students are very vigilant in the bush, because as you've probably heard before, these buffaloes are the ones that are very cantankerous, to use a big word, ornery, grumpy old buffaloes. See, right now they are busy feeding on the grass. Once it gets hot, they'll start chewing the cud, which is basically a fancy term for regurgitating their food back into their mouth so that they can eat it again and enjoy it multiple times. They've got that 4-chambered stomach that you've probably heard about as well, which means that they can digest their food very, very, very well, get the maximum amount of nutrients out of it. Now you can see that beautiful boss, the shininess of it. Younger buffaloes will have a very sparse covering of hair around the boss area, and as they get older it starts to rub off. They shine that horn up by rubbing it against trees. We actually saw it briefly last night, a buffalo bull rubbing its horns. Remember, there's a little bit of indigo girl. You're right, it is quite a rough looking boss. So maybe this buffalo is either still in his prime, has not yet reached the very, very ripe age of, between 15 and 16 years old, which is usually about as old as a buffalo gets. So maybe he's got a few years left in him to fight around and maybe rub its horns on things to get them shinier. I think the shinier a horn and the smoother it is, it's a sign of wisdom. So these buffaloes are still warriors. They haven't yet become poets. Oh, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave these buffaloes being wise and head off to some animals that need to still gain their wisdom.
Another female just came down into the riverbed. She's just gone into the grass, but the cubs were very excited to see her. Ran down the embankment. They had a little greeting. One of my favorite lion interactions to witness is when a female calls her cubs and they come running and greet each other. Often they've been away all night or out hunting, cubs patiently waiting until their mothers return. And out here there are no givens. Anything can happen. The bush is often harsh and unforgiving, and every time a mother leaves her cubs behind, there's a very real possibility that they may never reunite. Perhaps she gets injured or killed during a hunt. Perhaps her cubs get killed while she's away. So their joyous reuniting is very warranted, and it's lovely to watch. Chrissy, you've seen their full little bellies. They are very noticeable, little pot-belly lions. See the one cub still had a bit of blood around its mouth. Must have had a great feast on that buffalo. And lines popping out of everywhere here. But from lions on the ground, they occasionally go up. Let's send you over to Phinda and see what they're up to.
Welcome back again. So these lion cubs have gotten very, very active now and very playful. What I'm going to do... Oh, look at them fighting and biting each other. So one of them has picked up a stick and it's running around with the stick, and that's almost become the prize for these little lion cubs now. So now they're just running around and all of them want to get that stick. So incredible. So there's this beautiful fallen over dead tree here that we are just waiting and hoping that they jump in and play on. But look at this, look at this, look at this. Come on, that log is right there. Go and jump on it. Yes, go, go, go. Well, so far it's just the two brothers fighting and playing here. I don't know where the others disappeared to. Oh no, that's a third one there that he's playing with now. Oh. I love it when they get so active and playful like this. So when we left that male and female just now and came back to find these youngsters, yeah, lion extravaganza, Rosemary, you're right. When we left the male and female just now and came back to these youngsters, it seems like the one lioness, so the mother of some of these, has joined back up with them. So that's quite nice for them. Got their mom back. She must have gone off hunting and maybe didn't manage to catch anything. And now she's come back to rejoin them, probably for the rest of the day. Alright, I think while these lions have just moved off, and there's just the one lying in the grass there, what I think we might do is try and find a better view of them. See where they're going to disappear to today. There's lots of trees around here. As we know, these lions do like to play in trees and climb trees and things. So I think we're going to stick with them a little bit longer anyway. Oh, yes, maybe this is it. Come on, look at him, he's looking up at it. Yes. Oh no, he's just rubbing himself on. Whoa! It's so amazing to watch lions at play like this. Look at that. It's getting quite rough, biting each other's ears and... It's just like they're taunting us with this dead tree here. It's like a perfect spot for them to jump up on. Right, while we have a conversation with them about doing some acrobatic tricks around here, we're going to send you back to David.
Oh, we've just watched the Pride cross the riverbed. They've gone up onto that little hillock there. The female joining them appears to also have a bit of an injury. That back right foot seems to be a bit sore. Lion always in the wars, spraining a foot here and there, or perhaps standing on a sharp stump or a rock or something that injures their pad. Spraining limbs, you can imagine how much power they use when they pull down a buffalo or a large mammal. In the heat of the moment, an injury will often be forgotten, but becomes very clear in the next morning when it's nice and cold out. You can see they might have hurt something, but they are resilient animals and they generally always heal up. Just going to go down into the riverbed and try and follow it around, see if we can get up there. We won't be able to go straight up there. It's not a very good spot to drive, but perhaps we can get another look around the back. As we're moving around, let's send you up to our tree climbing lines in Phinda.
Right, it looks like our quick little conversation with them worked perfectly, because look at this. One of them has climbed right up to the top of this tree. And it's quite a steep vertical tree, so he did very well to get up. Just like a typical cat. Look at him rubbing him. You can definitely see that lions are not born to climb like some of the other cats. Oh, now he's going to bite it. Oh, my word. Imagine we see him fall out of here. Look at him. He's not looking very stable in there, so it is a possibility, I guess. They don't have... Oh, yeah. Marcel's even saying, place your bets now. This is So incredible. So the others are still playing around the bottom, but the one brave one seemed to jump up high, decide it's time for him to climb. It's so amazing. They're the only pride that just do this, and it seems to happen so often. Oh, this one closest to us is also going to do a little bit of climbing now, I think. Ah, Julianne, that's a very good question. I suppose there's no, even when they're young, even when they're small little cubs, they'll start climbing trees and practicing. But it's not normal for lions. Look at them. This is so cool. It's not normal for them to climb trees. Most lions don't. Leopard definitely do. They climb trees a lot. But for lions, it's not something they normally do. So I think these ones probably learned even quite young, because even the adults in this pride do it. So it's just certain prides that learn to do it. And there's probably no reason for it. Like, a leopard will climb a tree to keep them safe from other cats, like lions and things. Hyenas keep their kills away from hyenas. Cheetah might climb on a dead tree like this to get a good vantage point out to look for any prey. But lions, it's not normal for them. They're not doing it for any reason. It looks like they're just doing it for fun, which is really cool. If you look under the tree, Marcel, there's one stalking another one. Look at this. The one youngster is stalking one of the others. Look how slowly he's moving forward. And then at the last minute, he's going to pounce over the grass there onto one of these little young ones. Look at him moving slowly. Oh, maybe he got over it. No, he's still coming. Oh, wait, this other one's trying to climb down. Sorry, there's just so much to look at. I think we have to watch this one climbing down. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's like a jungle gym. It's one thing getting up, but I always find with lions, once they're up, they look at it and they're like, oh, why did I do this? And how am I going to get down? He's actually doing pretty well so far. I'm impressed. Huh. Very impressive. Rose, you're saying these lions definitely had their coffee? Yeah. Lots and lots of energy this morning. But it's amazing how it took a while as well. They were staying around the water, not too much. Yeah, that's another good thing. We can start giving them a score out of 10 for their dismounts. Let's see, he still doesn't exactly know how to finish it off. He's probably about 1.5 meters off the ground. He doesn't know how to descend down that last 1.5 meters. Oh, look at him. He really doesn't know. So he'll just pretend like he's not doing it at all. He'll just sniff the tree, bite the tree a little bit, just pretend that he doesn't really want to go down. Ah, there we go. Okay, let's see. Oh, 10 out of 10. Oh, Wild K, you're giving it a 10. Sure, I think I would rate this at like a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, that wasn't bad, actually. Let's go more than 4, maybe a 6. Right, now they're all back on the floor and having a little pile-on, all jumping on top of each other. What an incredible morning with these little lions. They have put on a show for us, that's for sure. Oh, yo, that one's biting so hard. Like biting the one's ear. Even the claws are out. You can imagine how nice it is now that the sun is hitting this area, starting to warm them up a little bit. Must be very, very nice for them. Oh. Now with all these cubs being a very similar age, there's going to be, even now, there's going to be a bit of a dominance between them. So 50, you're also giving it an 8 out of 10. Okay, good. This lion got some good points then. How much fun. Oh, this one's going to climb up and do something. Well, it seems like these lions are starting to take a little bit of a breather here. I'm going to stick here a little bit longer though and see. Oh, look at this. How cool is that? I'm going to stick here a little bit longer and see if they carry on climbing or if they move off. It looks like they might be moving off though.
How amazing is it to be able to see lions up in the tree? Now, we haven't had any luck with the leopard or the wild dogs this morning, but we've decided, you know what, we're going to move that out of the way and we're going to look for the lions. Now, the lions were seen up in this direction early this morning, and they were coming down to where we are now. So we're just carefully driving this road to see if there's any tracks of them crossing over. If not, we know that from where they were last seen until here, they must be in between where we are now. So we're slowly carrying on. If we do find some tracks, we know that they've crossed. If not, we're going to start searching all the way down to the river. We're just on the side of the river. The river's on our left, and hopefully there's a chance of seeing them. So no tracks yet. Just want to carefully check as we go along here, just to make sure we don't miss anything. Now what I'm thinking, after the lions had such a massive feast on that buffalo from yesterday morning, there's a chance they might start heading down to water. Don't see any tracks yet. So I'm just, as I said, I'm just carefully wanting to make sure that they haven't crossed from the left to the right. Now what's really important when you track something like lions is, we have a saying that says slow tracking finds animals faster. So if you rush to try and get to certain places because you think they might be there, they could easily change their direction. And so what we need to do is this, we have to slow ourselves down and make sure that we don't miss any track. Once we've covered this road, we know, okay, there's nothing here. Let's go to the next one. Cover nothing there. And so through a process of elimination, we slowly start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and eventually we'll be able to find these lions. So nothing as of yet. There's one more section I want to just have a look on this side. So we are quite close to one of our camps, tented camp, beautiful camp that overlooks the river, just to make sure they haven't moved basically along the camp and down towards where the water is. So I don't see anything yet. From here on, we are going to make our way down towards the river. There's a good chance. I don't want to jinx it. Susie, it is pretty hard to track in the light, but what's quite nice about it though is maybe if I can just stand like this, just to show all our viewers like what we are trying to look out for and why we track. Just want to also make sure the lions were close to this area, that we don't see them or surprise them as we go along. But if I can show the tracks here, I mean, it might be a little bit difficult to, or not as difficult to see, but if you look on this patch here, you'll notice it's a different color in comparison to the sand on this side here. Now, often when you track, you try to get yourself between, or you want to get the track between where you are and where the sun is. Because of that, it casts a bit of shadows, especially within the track, and then you'll be able to see it a bit more clearly. So now to give you an idea, let's pretend I was a lion and I wanted to see if there was, or I want to see the tracks on this particular road here. If I take my hand, now notice the color of the soil here. As soon as I press my hand on this and remove it, it will be a little bit of a lighter color, and that's what we're trying to look out for. So let's say I put my hand in there and I put my hand there. If I move it, can you notice the different colors and hues of light on that in comparison to the area around it. So this looks a bit fresher than what's next to it, and that's the little things that we're trying to look out for, especially when we do track these lines. Just want to carefully scan, because I mean, pretty much look like a little warthog if I'm crouched down like that. Just make sure these lines don't look at me. Alright, but now we know what to be looking out for, so let's slowly carry on and hopefully see something within the river. So let's keep our fingers crossed. So now, to give you an idea, they were on the northern bank of the river. We've driven on the southern bank. There's no tracks crossing south. So that means the only other place that I estimate they could be lying down is either in the river or still on the northern bank, or even on this side, in between where we are now. So we're going to slowly carry on. Who knows, maybe that little surprise, big pride lying down in the river. Don't want to jinx it, but just saying that's the option. So while we venture on with our little tracking adventure or tracking mission, let's send you across to Lauren, who's also on a mission.
I am on the move. Unfortunately, we had to leave the den. I can't keep it all to myself, unfortunately. And I'm just looking for the monitor lizards. I can't see them at the minute. But we will head back to the den. Something fascinating happened though, and everybody scattered, and I believe all the males that were around, no lizards, must be too cold, they were all hunting an impala. Now, I don't believe they were successful because we raced around and tried to catch them, and there didn't appear to be a kill. But what that shows you is our Juma clan do not just scavenge. They absolutely don't just scavenge. They do hunt as well, and that's probably how they sustain themselves. All the males together, cooperatively, absolutely could take down an impala. And I believe they were chasing one, which is fascinating. So we're just going to do a short loop and then probably head back to the den at some point. There's nothing much happening around Vuatela Dam. Of course, Miss Kalamba, our princess, was on the dam cam just after drive last night. Can you believe it? Typical. So she may still be in the area. I'm just gonna have a little scratch around. Yes, it's very classic that our animals appear right as drive ends. It's almost guaranteed, actually. Now, a few of the hyenas ran into this drainage. They're running amok, really running amok. So maybe not all got fed from that buffalo carcass. Now, there wasn't much left after the Nkahoma pride devoured it. So maybe the males are definitely still hungry, and that's what was happening. Okay, I'm going to thoroughly check this area before heading back to the den, but we're going to send you across to Dave, who's also on a mission.
We are on a bit of a mission since we left those line. We tried to see if we could loop around and maybe get another look. Just gonna chat on the radio one sec. No, negative, just coming back down into that area off Mamba Loop. I'll let you know shortly if I get another visual. Interesting that Kalamba was on the dam cam. I'd love to see Kalamba again. You might recall, if you're watching, Davy and I had an incredible sighting of her with that scrub hair. She played with it for ages. Quite a hectic sighting, a lot of squealing and squeaking, but incredible nonetheless. Not sure how far these lines have moved after crossing the riverbed. Let's see if we can get another look. If not, we did have some lovely time with them this morning. Lots of interaction with those females coming down. Dalfirth, I'm not sure if I got that name right. You've asked if the male cubs disperse from the Nkahumas, once they get old enough to where they get pushed out by the males and they are forced to... Oh, there's a battalier in the tree. Let's have a look. Finish that answer shortly. Now forth, I'm just going to see if we can slowly go around here without scaring this battalier. See if we can see it just through the gap in the trees there. Beautiful. I think this is probably my favorite raptor. Just so striking in its coloration, that beautiful red face. It makes him so unique. We are not too far from that buffalo carcass that those lions are munching on, perhaps. Who knows? This could have been the first battalier upon that site. As you may know, they are very adept scavengers, excellent eyesight, often the first raptors to spot a carcass. Let's sit and listen to this lovely morning as the birds wake up. Andrea, you've commented how beautiful this bird is. It really is exquisite. So much so that its Latin name talks about its beautiful face. The first part of its name, Terathopius, talks about beautiful face. But therefore, to answer the rest of the question there, those males, once they disperse and move off out of the territory of the Nkuhumas, then they will often stick together. You are perhaps correct in that assumption. Often siblings will stick together to form a coalition. Strength in numbers will ensure a greater chance of success as they move off and search for their own territory. They'll often be nomadic for some time as they grow and gain strength. But being a coalition will definitely up their chances of survival.
So Rebecca, our Meerkat habituator, did a fantastic job yesterday of actually tracking down these meerkats again. So that burrow that we were at 2 days ago, what we call Boskia burrow, that's about 800 kilometers. That's a long way. That's about 800 meters due south of where we are now. And then they moved from there, and they've actually moved all the way back to the old burrow site, the far burrows. So they are down here now. We're just waiting for them to come up. It was a little bit cool this morning. In fact, it was quite a bit cooler than it was yesterday morning. But the nice thing this morning is the wind has gone down. There's hardly a breath of wind this morning. So it's actually warming up really, really quickly. So I don't think we're going to be waiting too much longer for these little guys to pop out. Rebecca also said, and we'll see when they start popping out what the end result is, but there were 2 meerkat pups that you'd seen coming back here. So it could be that the other one was ahead with some of the other adults, and it had already gone down by the time the other ones arrived, but who knows. When Jeandre was still here, you may recall that very often it was happening when they started going out foraging in the mornings. You'd get one of those pups actually moving off with the others, and you get that one fairly nervous adult meerkat that would keep you back. So it could just be that's what happened yesterday. One had moved and got back to the burrows before the others had. But anyway, let's wait and see. I think I'm very, very happy that the age that they were at now, and they're looking very, very strong. I don't think there'll be any issues with them unless something managed to catch one of them. But I don't think that would be the case at this point. So let's hope, because there were 5, and we knew. Butterfly says we need to reset their alarm. Well, maybe they had a long night. Maybe they had a rough night. Maybe they had challenges, issues that they're dealing with. And it's always good to let them sleep in, because they also work hard. And if you've worked hard, you can sleep in a little bit, surely. No, they'll be out and about soon enough. Soon enough. Doesn't seem to be any tracks of anything dodgy around here, so that would be a threat to a meerkat just yet. But we're still keeping our eyes open for those goshawks. Remember the ones that we saw that had gobbled that squirrel up? So we'll keep our eyes open for them, and we must really try to find where they're nesting, because that'll be really, really interesting.
Well, things have definitely settled down a bit here. Everyone is lying in the sun and resting, warming up, maybe a bit of grooming. Oh, okay, I lie. There's still 2 chasing each other. You probably won't be able to see them too far. They're right behind all the bushes there. But we've positioned ourselves just where that other one climbed up in this marula tree. So you never know. Maybe one of them will come back. But it looks like most of the rest of the family seems to all be relaxing. Now we haven't, we heard those other lions while we were watching these ones earlier. We haven't heard them for a while, so I don't know if they've moved off. I'm talking about the male and the female that were mating. They might have moved off. Oh, look at that. You can just see the enjoyment in his eyes, just loving the sunlight and warming up in it. James, this pride has been around here for about 3 years or so in this area. This is where they have, look at those 2 resting on each other. Ngala Pride have been around here for about 3 years. And those 2 males that kind of control this territory, is it also, it must be about 3 years as well. And since then they've kind of taken over this area, and it's a really, really great area for them to have. Perfect. I mean, you can see they're very healthy. So there's a lot of food out here. A lot of the habitat in their territory is big open grassland. So there's a lot of zebra and a lot of wildebeest. So that probably makes up most of their diet. And then, you look at, we've got a pride right up in the north of the reserve, which we haven't really shown you yet. But that pride, because it's such a thick area, very different habitat type, you get a lot of Ngala up there, and they feed almost exclusively, I'd say, on Ngala. Yeah, they've got a perfect habitat out here. And I've never seen any of the other lions from any of the other prides doing this tree climbing, so it's quite a special pride. See, that little one is looking up in the tree, but I think he's going to put his head down. There we go. Nice and comfy on his brother. Marcel says the brother is the best pillow. Very true. So this is the mother of some of them that's lying in the foreground here. She's the one that must have been out hunting last night. Oh, tough life. She must have been out hunting last night and she came and rejoined them again this morning. Oh, the tough life of a lion. Play for a little while, well, mom goes off hunting, then play for a little while, and now sleep. We're going to send you over quickly to Lauren, who's got a gorgeous bird for you.
The fishermen of the bush. We have the grey heron. A really large bird, very tall, closely related to the storks. Of course, standing tall above Buffelshoek Dam, looking for some fish. Completely adapted for that lifestyle, to live around water bodies, and the long legs to actually stand in the water. And then when the time is right, they've got that long, sharp, pointy beak, almost like a spear fisherman, to dig right in and catch those fish. Now I can't quite see the color of this beak, but if it's yellow, that's normally a sign that it's a non-breeding adult. It's slightly different when they're breeding, and they've normally got those black plumes at the back of their head as well. So small yet significant changes in the plumage and the beak during the breeding season in comparison to when they're not breeding. They're very active birds, are active during the day and at night time. But obviously it's far easier for them to catch fish and all the other delicious aquatic insects during the day than it is at night time. Now if I just move forward, Theo, we're going to be able to give you a view of the hippos at the dam. I believe the den is now free again, so we may try and get back, but we're quite a bit out, I'm afraid. I thought that Buffelshoek Dam was a good place to check. I want to make it my mission to find Tswalu this time round. It has been far too long. So over there somewhere where hippos are the hippos, but unfortunately, there we go. Happy hippo. So while I sit and admire Buffelshoek Dam, I'll send you guys back across to Ngala.
We managed to get into the riverbed. No signs of these lions yet, but you'll notice there's quite a few kudu that are in the riverbed. Now often you don't really find kudu in the riverbed because, I mean, for them being browsers, they tend to be on the banks feeding off some of the trees. But you'll notice with these ones here, there's a little scrub that's growing. I'm not too sure which one it is, but you'll see how the kudus are actually moving into the riverbed to feed off of it. This looks like a creeper of some sort in the river. Now just notice those big round ears now, and every time the one puts its head down, the other one will pick up its head and just scan around and scan or tilt its ears to just try and listen to what's going on. And I reckon if the lions were nearby here, these kudus would have picked it up. Especially that one, how it's like pointing its ears forward, just listening out for any noise, any movement. There's actually another kudu walking on the bank, just almost in the direction where they're staring up. So normally when you find kudu, you'll find it like this one up here. They do have amazing ears, almost like the wild dogs that we were looking for this morning. They also have those very round ears. Now, imagine with kudu being an antelope that often occurs in denser areas because that's why we had to stop as well, because you don't really see them out in the open like this. But for them, they are very well adapted for dense areas. Hence the stripes on the side of the body, which breaks out the outline. Look at that one as it's moving through the vegetation, how hard it is to spot. You'll even notice the back foot steps into the track of the front foot, so that makes even less noise as it's moving through a dense area. But those big round ears definitely helps them to listen to any movement, especially being in denser areas. They don't rely as heavy on their sight as they would do on their hearing, so they need to be well equipped for that. Tammy, it's definitely one of the most gorgeous. It is definitely a gorgeous picture. And also the light on them is just really, really amazing. It's not too harsh, but it's not too soft. It's just in between. And even looking at this Kudu, the colors of it, I mean the one that's right here in front of us, you'll notice that it almost looks like there's a two-tone color, where the majority of the body is the shade of like a light brown color, but then when you go to the neck, you'll notice there's a bit of a grayish color running from the neck all the way up to the head. A little patch of white around the nose, that little patch on the side of the chin. And even look at that one, just scanning up, looking where the others are. This one looks very, very curious of what's going on around it.
WildEarth relies on support from viewers like you to carry on broadcasting our daily live shows. A small donation goes a long way in helping us on our mission to connect the world with nature. Please visit our support page to see how you can help and become part of the WildEarth family.
And they are out. So it wasn't too much longer after we thought. There's 5 of the adults are out now, but I'm really interested to see actually how many of these, okay, 6. So all adults out now. There's one over to the right-hand side of the frame as well, or to the left-hand side of the frame there. And I've got 1 pup in this group. I can see 1 pup now. So it's 1 out of 3. That's really good. Well, yeah, it's like 33%. Okay, that's okay. Probably better than my math scores. Whoops. I want to see, I stood up a little bit quickly over there, and they're out again. Ding, ding. Okay. So we know definitely there should be 2, definitely. But I'm pretty confident there'll be all 3. Rebecca and I were just chatting about the location of this burrow system. It's just a far, far, far better burrow system than that one that they were at 2 days ago, or in fact even yesterday morning, what we call the Boskia burrows. Okay, I've got 2 pups. Go dink. Okay, that's really good. 3 pups. Yeah, all 3 pups. Okay, so all 3 pups are there. Good news. Yes. Okay, that's a relief. And I don't know why it's a relief. It's like if I get to the dam and there's not 9 ducklings in the morning, then I'm going to get all like depressed. But you know, it's just, it is nature. It's what happens. You know, these things have evolved in these environments over millions of years. You know, being eaten by something is perfectly normal. Obviously, it's not great for the individual, but it's, you know, predation is what drives these systems. And if you look at it, our thinking used to be, the ecological thinking was what they call the green world hypothesis. So you've got everything stems from your grass layer and your vegetation and that, and then it builds up to all your herbivores, and then you got this little apex predator, a couple of them sitting right on the top of this classic food pyramid. But the thinking more is going towards, it's actually a top-down structure. So it's these apex predators at the top that actually keep these systems healthy. And in environments where you don't have those apex predators, you can get ecological collapse. That could take a year, it could take 10 years, it could take 20 years, you know, but there's a definite negative effect on habitats if you have excluded apex predators, and that's well shown, that's well proven. So how that relates to meerkats is, yeah, it'll be sad if a meerkat gets eaten. A goshawk comes in, grabs a meerkat, it's game over. But it's also incredibly important for the very survival of these species, like meerkats, that keeps them fit, keeps them healthy, keeps them strong. And it is crucial that that predation keeps on taking place at every level of the system. A spider or spider webs catching things, scorpions catching things, goshawks catching things, lions catching things, wild dogs, cheetah, doesn't matter what it is. Pick a predator. That predator plays an incredibly vital role in any ecosystem. So next time you want to go put herbicide on your roses in your garden because you've got aphids, think twice about it. There's things that do that pest control for you in a far better way than any kind of herbicide can. Like ladybirds. Everyone loves a ladybird. Who doesn't like a ladybird?
Well, no sign of the nkuhumas. They seem to have moved off into some very thick bush. Unable to follow, but that's okay. We've had a lovely morning with him nonetheless. And from the male battlier to the youngster, we've just stopped to admire this juvenile battlier up here on a dead leadwood. It's another beautiful sighting in the golden light. You can see it's a juvenile by its very bland coloration. Doesn't have that striking beauty of the male or the adult that we saw earlier. Very beautiful. Lovely to spend some time with birds in the early morning. There are other birds up and around here. What else? It looks like there's a roller down there and to the right. What roller is that? Let's zoom in on it. Perhaps, does that look like a purple roller to you, Craig? Lovely bird calls this morning. What a lovely shot. Purple roller and a juvenile battlier. I think that's a purple roller. Yes, it is. Everyone's confirming it. Thank you. Purple roller, that heavily streaked underside. That green tinge on the back, really beautiful roller. There's some starlings up and about. A little bird party up in this ancient leadwood this morning. This tree has been here for a very long time.
So one of the trackers, Richard, was able to find the lions this morning, but they are pretty far off from where we are now. But we decided as we were going in that direction, maybe let's just come past the tree where the leopard had the kill up yesterday in the tree. And of course, little treat. And here's that young male leopard lying down at the base of the tree. Now, we came past here twice this morning, tried to see if he was around, and there was no sign of him. So he might have even left this area to go down for a drink, and then eventually decided to come back and just lie down where he is now. But look at the color of those eyes. Beautiful, beautiful spot pattern. Long whiskers. and just very relaxed at the moment. So every time there's a leaf dropping down out of the tree, you'll see it catches his attention. Because he has to be so careful. If there's another big male leopard in the area, he could easily chase him off away from that kill. But in the meantime, the only one that knows about the kill is him. Not even any hyena is around. So the kill is basically right there up in the tree. With all the leaves, it'd be really hard to see it. But hopefully later on we can just reposition the vehicle and see if we can get another glimpse. But it would be really nice to spend some time with him and possibly see if we can get him climbing the tree. Now, there are marks on the tree that shows that he has climbed it. Now, I want to try and point it out. It is going to be hard, so Owen and I are going to try and work together here in order to do it. Now, Owen, if we zoom in right in the middle there, where we are now, you'll notice these little white marks. So right in the middle of the screen, you'll notice there's a little gap, and then that part of the bark is missing. So as this leopard is climbing the tree, it's literally digging its claws into the bark of the tree in order to pull itself up. Now, have a look at the size of this male leopard. Now, that impala that it dragged up into the tree is almost the size of him. It just shows you how strong he is. I mean, he's using only his claws to dig into that tree, and he's capable of pulling himself as well as a big kill into that tree. It's pretty amazing. Just tells you how powerful they are. How amazing it is to find this leopard, or find the rosettes. It's one of the most amazing things about leopards for me is sometimes you do get individuals with different color eyes. So some have blue, others might have a little tinge of green and bluish, but then you get like a color like this male here, and you'll notice it's almost like a liquid amber color. Not too dark, but very light in color as well. See how he's looking up? Quick yawn. Hopefully he decides now it's time for breakfast. Oh, he's getting up. Ooh. Let's just have another look, because as we mentioned, maybe there's a chance we could see him climbing the tree. But what I want to do, I'm going to be quiet for the next little while, because if he does climb up the tree, I want you to listen to how those claws dig into the tree and how he uses strength in order to get and maneuver himself up. Something just grabbed his attention, but I'm sure it won't be too long, because he wasn't with the kill for quite a while. He came back, lied down on the base of the tree, and the kill is there's still a lot of meat left on it, so chances are really good that he might decide to climb this tree now. And that's the thing, it's not a 100% guarantee, but the chances are good that it could possibly happen. What I want to do is, if he decides to move up that side, I just want to quickly maneuver the vehicle. He is looking at the carcass, so just bear with me for 2 seconds as I maneuver the vehicle. Here we go. So see though, he's constantly looking up. Looks like he might jump. Get ready. that little patch of sunlight on his face. The only thing you can see now is just his feet on top of the one branch. So see right in the middle of the screen, there's a little white patch. Cole, that was very easy for that leopard. Did you see how he jumped in? It didn't even sound like there was any noise. Now, the Impala carcass is basically 4 or 5 meters away from us. And while we try and reposition from here, let's send you back to another carcass with Dave, apparently, and there's some hyena.
Well, we've just come down to the buffalo carcass. I haven't seen it yet, so I was interested. We're getting to see a hungry hyena. Listen to those powerful jaws as they crunch that bone. The most powerful predator jaws we have out here in the bush. And nothing is going to waste, even though this carcass has all been eaten. As far as the good meat goes, there's always something left over. As you can see, hyena is crunching away at what's left of that skull and spinal cord. Looks like a nice big buffalo bull. Would have had a good body size. That fed those nkuhumas. Tell me you've noticed the incredible sound of that crunch. It is amazing, isn't it? It's interesting, you often find lion will use the terrain to their advantage when they hunt buffalo. If we pan out just a little bit, you'll see that we're kind of in a hollow here in this drainage line. And I often see it with lion hunts. They get very clever and they use the terrain to their advantage. Often use it for buffalo and giraffe, the large mammals. They'll chase them into drainage lines like this in areas that are difficult to run. And use the terrain to their advantage to almost entrap the animal or slow it down. Here's just another good example where this buffalo fell is kind of in a dip, an area that's difficult to run through. Lots of drama must have unfolded here over the last couple days. Now the leftovers being picked at by this hyena. Laura, you've asked, will animals not eat a carcass because it's too old or rotten? And Laura, no, everything does get eaten. Out here, there's kind of a pecking order, if you could call it that. Obviously, the animal that initiated the kill, the lion, got their first choice and they ate all the good stuff. And then it'll be very quickly followed by all sorts of scavengers, from your hyenas to your jackals. And of course your raptors will come in and start picking away. Even the raptors, you get the larger vultures, your leopard face, that'll get through thick skin all the way down to your little hooded vulture. I've seen a couple around here, probably waiting for this hyena to leave. You can actually see them perhaps you can get a look there. It's very bright sun, but you might get a silhouette. I see a couple hooded vultures in the trees. Maybe off to the right, there's another look. Oh, there's a good look. Small diminutive vultures, but they've got a very sharp little beak that'll pick away at the little sinews and all the fascia and the tissue that's left over that the large mammals can't get to. So Lauren, everything will get eaten before it rots. And even in the event that something died of natural causes and was left for some other reason untouched to where that meat really did rot, you'll find animals aren't as picky as one might think. Some species will really show no phase whatsoever. They won't be phased by any amount of rotting meat. I've seen leopard return to very green, gross, stinky meat. So nothing goes to waste out here in the bush.
So a lot of good activity going on here, a ton of burrow maintenance. These little ones are growing by the day. And those of you, I don't know if any of you actually took any screenshots or anything, maybe a couple of weeks ago when they first came out. And if you see the size comparison now to when they first came out, there's a huge difference. But also importantly, just how they're interacting with the adults. All their skills are just developing daily. In fact, probably by the hour. And they're just a lot more stable on their feet. They're a lot more active, a lot faster. So these guys are growing so quickly. It will just be a fun thing. Ooh, someone sounds like they got a tiny hyena cubs. Maybe head over there and we'll stick with these meerkats.
Guess who we have? We have Corky, finally. Corky and Cub together at the den, finally, everybody. Finally. I've been waiting on this moment. Now, I don't want to go too close, but Corky's clearly feasting on, well, whatever delight that's left over from earlier. No one else is around. I can't see anyone. Isn't this just so wonderful? Finally. Hey, Corks. Wow. I wonder if we can. Oh, I think this position's good for now. So she does come around the den. She obviously waits until no other adults are here. Wouldn't it be so nice to see this little one suckling? They were... Corky, everybody's saying hi to you. Say hi. No, she's too hungry. But in all seriousness, everyone, this is the ex-matriarch. This is the female who we don't quite know where she sits. I'm guessing at the very bottom now, which is rather sad. She was the matriarch of the entire Juma clan. Corks was exactly where Ribbon is now, and Ribbon overthrew her. Corky's been through a lot. She got attacked by Darkmane, the Avoca. She's had another run-in with the Avoca males. I can't remember which one. I think it was Mohawk. And whatever happened, she got extensively injured. And Ribbon took over. And finally, we've returned to the den. No vehicles, no other hyenas. Just Mom and Cub. Oh, and she knows that's Mom. Corky. Your little one waits for you so patiently. So I think that Corky's at the very bottom now, and due to that good old silver spoon effect, nepotistic society, this little one is also at the bottom. The sex will be interesting. It'll be really, really interesting to know. She's trying to suckle. Oh, this is what we've been waiting for, everyone. So maybe Corky's not nocturnally suckling entirely. Maybe Corky's always on the periphery. She's in the area and we just can't see. Because all the other hyenas have disappeared. I don't know what. I heard they were hunting something. And Corky's obviously came in, picked up that bone, wherever it's from, and hopefully she's here to suckle. I didn't expect this. And that just shows you, I don't know how long I've been gone for let's just say 45 minutes. We had Ribbon, we had Juma, we had lots of immigrant males and the other cubs. I come back and the whole scenario's changed. And it just shows you sometimes you've just got to spend time at a den and actually watch what happens, who comes and who goes. I would really love this little one to be a girl. Even if it is a female, it will still be low ranked, but it's still a female, if that makes sense. It will still contribute to the pool of, well, the female society here. Corky's last offspring was Plonk, who was a boy, and we don't know what happened to Plonk. Oh, it's so good to see her. I admire Corky. Life hasn't been easy for her, and whenever she falls, she gets back up. And now she just, after going from a position of power, she's obviously very much submissive now to Ribbon and Juma. Now I think as soon as Corky stops eating whatever it is she's eating, we may be in for some really lovely suckling time. Now what'll be interesting will be to see the two boys, Shimbulu and Ngwazi, with Corky. Oh! Corky! Many of you are hoping it's female. Me too. We have no way of knowing at this stage. We'll need to start genital watch soon. That'll be fun for you, Theo. We have no way of knowing, but if it's female, it will still be a low ranker, but it will really contribute to that pool. The Juma clan, as I mentioned earlier, only has 5 females, 5 adult females. They could do with being stronger. And Corky's looking well. She's not as big as she used to be, I feel. I feel like she has lost sort of muscle mass or body weight. Look at that tail up. Do you see that little one putting its tail up? Beyond, absolutely. Imagine if this little one is a female and it rises in the ranks and takes over from Ribbon. Possible. I think with hyenas, anything is possible. Matriarchal takeovers are conducted and they're witnessed. Imagine. Wouldn't that be an incredible turn of events? Corky's lineage rising again. So I really do hope that Corky will allow this one some milk at some point. But as I patiently wait this out with Joy, we're going to send you back across to Dave.
Just repositioned here, and I got some lovely feedback from everyone that this is indeed Sol, the hyena that we believe is from the Elephant Plains side. But now thoroughly enjoying this buffalo skull here on Juma, crunching away with those powerful jaws. Speaking of hooded vultures, a bit earlier we see that Soul's got a friend. In very close proximity to each other, they're not too phased. Oftentimes Hyena will chase vultures away, but in this case, he's not too worried. Quite a funny looking vulture, isn't it? Trying to get it a scrap of meat left behind. You can smell it and taste it, but it just can't quite reach it. Oh, Laura Moore, good to hear from you again. You say it's a cute little vulture. It is, I suppose, in its own way cute, although they do have the filthy habit of eating lion feces, which immediately reduces their cuteness factor. They're very funny looking. Got a little bit of a bone there. Picking away. Nothing will go to waste. We call them the toothpicks of the bush. They can really get in there with those little beaks. Make sure they get all the meat. And Sol is really going to town on that skull. It's just ripping and biting, getting in all that leftovers from the skull. You see how awake they are, how attentive they are. When animals are out here, they're always aware. You know, we sit down to a nice dinner and we aren't too phased about our surrounds. We just enjoy our food and people around us. But animals out here, even though they're enjoying their meal, constantly aware. He's always listening in case another predator might make its way in, something that could be threatening to him. So a couple bites and then look up and listen. A few more bites, look up and listen. And from one hyena breakfast to the other, let's go over to Lauren with Corky.
Poor little cubby here is doing its very, very best to, well, latch on, shall I say, to locate one's nipples. And Corky's not really entertaining it. But of course, Corky won't have... Oh, hello. Someone's popped their head out to say hello. Shimbulu. So that means they are still inside. So when Ribbon ran off to wherever she's ran off to, her too, I guess, went back inside. This is the little one's time. Can you hear that? That's the cub. That's the little cub. Oh, it's hungry. But Corky also needs to eat, and she needs to eat before it's stolen from her. She needs to devour it in order to keep producing delicious milk. Oh. This little one is completely bending over backwards here to get whatever it can get. here comes Double Trouble. And Swazi's popped his head out as well. This is going to be very interesting, everybody. Ex-matriarch, her little one, and the new matriarch's two little ones. Was that a sneeze? I think Corky just sneezed. Now remember, they're not enemies as long as Corky is completely submissive in her behaviour and everything she does. Ribbon will tolerate that. Oh my goodness. It's a hungry little Horus. The Corky's not going to harm Ribbons too. They're not in danger, they're all clan members. I think that looks quite painful. Oh goodness. That cub has sharp teeth and she's swinging here. It's lovely to see Corky at the den. We needed this sighting. Sonny, I agree. Feed your baby, Corks. It's going to be painful in the long run, I think. This cub is latching on and not letting go. She will. Corky will. She's just trying to get her own meal. Oh. And I really do believe she'll lie down and open the milk bar. Do you know how long I've been waiting for this sighting, everyone? A very long time. And it's just really entertaining that the two heads are also watching. Double Trouble are never too far away. They're very curious. But where's your mummy? So from my tiny little cup here, we're going to send you across to Dylan with his little pups of his own.
Just look at that digging going on there. And we've spoken about this before many, many times, but it is just good to come back to these things as reminders that when you're a small animal like this, okay, and pretty much your entire existence, or your entire survival, and I'm excluding the obvious things like having to eat, that kind of thing, but your entire survival really, really revolves around being able to get down burrows. And not just these ones that they're maintaining over here, but their little bolt holes out in the field. So when they're out foraging, they've got this incredibly good knowledge of their territory, where all the little safe spots are. And as they're going, as we're seeing them doing burrow maintenance here, if we were able to follow them, which unfortunately we can't, we're limited in terms of how we can move with these meerkats at the moment. That may change in the coming weeks, we don't know yet, but let's see. But as they're doing burrow maintenance here, they'll be doing the exact same thing out in the field as well. Just checking, making sure that all the little bolt holes are well maintained. And yeah, so what we're seeing here is integral to meerkat survival. And you know, I say that, and I'm getting like all philosophical, you know, but like everything any organism does is integral to their survival. You know, you can't say, well, one thing is more important than the other. There may be different amounts of time spent on certain things. So one thing may spend, a spider we might say, well, spends an inordinate amount of time just sitting in the middle of a web, and he makes the web so fast. So what's more important, the web or the time spent in the web? They are absolutely, you can't separate those. And same as a meerkat, you can't say, well, okay, well, because they only spend 20 minutes in the morning digging around the burrows and maintaining them, but they spend 7 hours a day looking for food, so therefore the food's more important. Well, it's not. You know, it's the sum of the parts, and that's what a meerkat is. Every organism, doesn't matter how big, how small, you know, whether it's a plant or an animal, is the sum total of its parts, and by the parts I'm talking about the behavior of that animal. You know, a human is a human because of what we do. An elephant is an elephant because of what it does. You can't say one thing is more important than the other. So this burrow maintenance that we're seeing here, just coming back to that, is, you know, these guys need to be maintaining these burrows. It's absolutely vital that they maintain that. Cole says they're just little landscapers. No, they are. And you can see, you just think, you know, relative to the size of the animal, the amount of soil that they've shifted, or sand. This is, you can't call the soil, just out of interest, this is sand. The amount of sand that they've shifted. And also remember, what we're seeing here is, again, I'm just absolutely thumb-sucking this now. I promise you, I've got nothing to base on. But this amount of sand that we're seeing around these burrows here is probably, I don't know, 3/4 of what has actually been moved. Because remember, you're getting a lot of wind movement on the sand. So you're getting a lot of sand being blown away from these burrows, you know, into the surrounding dune fields. So what we're seeing is probably 3/4 of what actually has been excavated. So there's quite a lattice work of tunnels underneath over here. And yeah, so they certainly do landscape the environment.
So we are sitting here with a white-backed vulture in a nest. It's the same one we had a couple weeks ago when Gert was here, and now it stands up. I actually think that it wasn't an adult, but a juvenile, because if you look at this one, it's got a lot of streaking on it and a very, very fluffy head. This bird is just warming up in the morning. I'm not sure, it's large enough, I'm sure it can take flight if it is the juvenile, and you know, maybe if it gets warmer, it'll fly around looking for something, catching those thermals. The reason why I think it's a juvenile, I'll show you now with the bird book. You'll be able to see just how different the adult and the juveniles are. Now, I certainly know that when they are, or as they get older, they do become more pale, and they are quite dark when they're young. But here you can see that's a juvenile over there. See how dark it is compared to the adult that's next to it, just over there. So there's a juvenile, and there's the adult. Adult's very, very pale in color. And you can see there's a darker one to the left there, which is another dark adult. Okay, so when we go back to the one in the tree now, you'll be able to see that streaking very, very heavily. And we know it's not a Cape vulture, because if I move the book up just slightly, the Cape vulture is very pale, and they also live on the mountain. But we see them every now and again flying over us. The Cape vulture is obviously much, much more rare. If we ever see one flying over us, we'll definitely point it out. Yeah, but let's go back to the vulture, and I'll show you now. You'll be able to see that streaking in the animal, in the flesh. So you can see this knobthorn tree is very, very tall knobthorn that it's made its nest right at the top of. And you'll be able to see that streaking. So you can see the streaking there now. So I think it is a juvenile. I think that's why we've seen it basically sitting on the nest for the last, well, every time we drive past here, it's always sitting there. I think that is the youngster that's basically growing now. I'm not exactly sure how long they might stay on the nest, but it can be quite a long time. But it's very, very nice. See how it's actually folded that neck into its downy belly feathers just to warm up. Although we can feel the sun is quite warm. It might even be that it's getting a bit too warm for it, and it's trying to shield itself from too much sun. But from up there, it's got a really good view. You know, vultures have great eyesight, like 4 times as acute as our own eyesight. That's what they say. So from a long distance away, this vulture, if it was an adult, oh, it is a great close-up. It's not so often that we get to be so close to vultures. Often their nests are in the large trees on riverbanks, and then the green foliage of those evergreen trees often blocks us. But this knobthorn is nice and open, so we get a great view of this vulture in the nest. And yeah, with this vulture, if it does start to fly, we'll be looking out for any other vultures circling in the sky, maybe indicating the presence of a carcass. And from kilometers and kilometers away, they'll be able to spot it. Incredible vision. I was told that from hundreds of meters up in the air, they could read a newspaper. That's how acute their vision is.
Just pulled up here at this beautiful elephant bull. Now he's being shy and walking off into the block. He was giving us a bit of a display of his power. He's shaking trees and shuffling the stumps around. With such ease, it's incredible to watch. Let me see if I can inch forward a bit and get a little bit of a better look at Mr. Elephant and not just his bum. Phenomenal power. He lifted this whole tree stump like it was a matchstick. Wow, I'm not sure if I got your name right there. You say it's so awesome to see elephants, and I agree, they probably my favorite animals to spend time with out here. Never know what they're gonna do, but they're always busy doing something. You might notice those little blackbirds flying around as he moves. There's a little fork-tailed drongo. Often find them around large mammals. What they're doing is they're catching the insects that he's rustling up as he moves through the bush and feeds. I often even have them join me when I'm doing a walking trail through the bush, darting in and out from your feet as you disturb grasshoppers and other tasty bugs. Very quick on the wing to snatch up insects. Well, I don't think we are going to get much better of a view, but it has been lovely to spend a little bit of time with Mr. Elephant.
And the milk bar is finally open. This is what we've been waiting for, everyone, Corky, with their cubs suckling. Just at the side of the den. This is the same den. The other two are inside. Can you believe it? They know that that's not their mother. I'm just going to take a moment to enjoy this, as it's been a long time coming. It's very precious moments like these. And some of you have already sent me screenshots, comparisons of Ribbon's 2 and Corky's 1. Thank you so much. I'm going to have a proper look at them in a little bit, but you can see the difference. You can. And I'm not sure how old I estimate this little one to be. Normally, you will find a hyena cub stays in its natal den for 4 weeks before joining the communal den. So it was a guess when I first saw this one that it was 4 weeks old, but I'm not sure. I think this cub is very young. Younger than we thought. Or than I thought, sorry. But interestingly enough, this little cub's been practicing putting its tail up. Animals learn by observations. Now, in hyenas, they didn't know what made the cubs understand their rank. How does a cub know when it's born what its rank is? There's lots of different factors that you can actually take into consideration here. It was thought, is it genetic? Because you're born with that silver spoon, is it passed on through genes? The second theory was thought, possibly, is it exposure to maternal hormones in the womb? Is it sort of the prenatal environment that determines your rank? And a really in-depth, fantastic study said that the result basically showed that it's postnatal behavior of the mother. And that's exactly what allows the cubs to know their rank. It's observation based. They watch their mother and they follow suit. So it's postnatal, nothing to do with genetics, nothing to do with hormones. And this was actually shown in a study where you had an adopted cub. No, it was an adopted youngster actually, who took on the rank of the mother. It wasn't their biological mother, it was the surrogate mother, and that showed that it's by observations. So I have had the most special morning. I'm going to sit here and enjoy this a little bit longer, but you guys are going to go back across to a spotted cat.
After a very good breakfast, this male decided he's going to go find himself a nice comfortable branch to lie down on and just enjoy a little bit of a breeze blowing over him. It is slowly starting to warm up. He's just keeping his head on the opposite side now, but hopefully, oh, there he goes. He's actually maneuvered it all the way more towards us now. But if you look at him, he is just so relaxed at the moment. Full belly, just positioned himself quite nicely. And also quite a nice vantage point just to scan and see if there's anything around. Mr. Jonathan, like, how amazing is this? And hopefully, like all our viewers for today, like after seeing so many amazing animals, so many amazing things, we can definitely take a little bit of our, or we can take a bit of the behavior of this leopard away for our day and just go and relax a little bit. For those who need to relax, those that are off to a day's work, to once you come back, same as this leopard, find yourself a nice little comfortable spot, rest that chin, close those eyes, and hopefully you've had a good meal. But from our side, what a amazing morning. And I heard, like, from all the rangers all across the different reserves, it's been absolutely stunning seeing all those amazing animals. But for us, we'll just spend more time with this male, and as I said, hopefully with everyone, go off, and hopefully we'll see you this afternoon, and like this leopard, have a relaxing day.